We're live, almost. We're live. Hey, everyone. Hello, everyone. How are you today? Really happy to be here again today with Vaughan and the team of Primordial Games, who are going to be, presenting us their newest NFT drop as part of, Isla Obscura, their game they've been working on with the Sandbox for quite some time now. So how are you guys?
Yeah, we're great. Thanks very much for having us, Seb. So like you said, we're going to be talking about Season 3 release of Isla Obscura, which is named The Idol's Two-Faced. It takes place in a swamp area which the player hasn't yet visited, a very treacherous, waterlogged section filled with a lot of secrets and hidden objects and areas. And alongside the creation of our level 3, we have put together 3 NFT collections. The first one is called Denizens of the Swamp, and I'll just play that video now.
All right, so while we wait, okay.
Marion, this is actually a legendary Wielders one. I think we got the audio a little bit wrong. Awesome. So actually, that we got the order a little bit wrong there. That's actually our special edition collection that we've put together of what we call our legendary Wielders. So we have, I'll actually jump into those and we'll get back to the swamp in a second. Little mix up with the videos there. But yeah, so the legendary Wielders are a special collection of Stranded that we've put together, who, if everyone's been following the story of Isla Obscura, there are characters known as the Stranded, who are the people who have landed on the island, and they are trying to eke out a living as best they can while avoiding the undead Lost Legion. These characters are Stranded who have actually discovered some ancient, very powerful artifacts, some of them by accident and some of them not so by accident, and have basically been transformed into almost demigods, being able to wield these massive, very powerful weapons to basically lay waste to the Lost Legion around them. And they will appear, they pop up as guest characters throughout the entire experience, the 12 experience arc as well, to help out the player and help them fight some of the bigger battles using their very large weapons, including, I saw a couple of comments there talking about the big arms, and we've got a big cosmic scythe. We've got the Yogan Kyutai, which is the large floating sun sphere, and we've got the Kori no Tsurugi, which is a large ice sword. So we're super excited to see how people take to these, because if they are quite popular, then we're looking forward to expanding the collection and being able to tell some side stories as well, be able to talk about how these characters managed to grab these really great weapons and tell their story almost in a little side arc alongside the main character's adventure. So we'll jump back into the swamp section. I'm just going to share, Marion, the experience.
Maybe before we do that, would you like to share with us a bit what the experience has been like so far? Because it's already, you've been one of the first studio onboarded as part of the Game Maker Fund. You have our third NFT drop today. It's quite exciting. Can you share with the community, the creators who are interested as well, to maybe build in Sandbox, launch NFTs with Sandbox? What's the experience has been like so far?
It's been really fantastic. So like you said, we got started, we were one of the first studios to get onboarded back in July of 2021. We got started working on Isla Obscura in August. And since then, it's been absolutely brilliant. We've been working alongside Sandbox, helping out reporting some bugs and helping improve the platform as we've been building. So we're really proud to see how it's kind of been coming along. We feel like we're almost part of the development of helping improve the experience for everybody. So it's really turned into this really great engine, I think, and it's only going to get better. Same with the Vox Edit as well. As we're growing, we're noticing a lot of other people using Vox Edit too. And we are, as our own skills been growing, we've been inspired by what other people in the marketplace have been doing too. It's been a real pleasure to see some of the the really great varieties of stuff that people have been able to create with Vox Edit. It's a really great kind of, it's a very simple program to pick up, but at the same time it is very powerful. So it's always worth a look. And of course, they're both free off the marketplace, free off the websites. So it's totally worth picking up and having a little tinker with to see if it's to see if it's the kind of thing you'd like to be part of in the future. Oh, Seb, you're muted.
Amazing. I'm really glad to hear that and to see like how quickly we've been empowering like creators already with really great looking. Like every time I see all those NFTs which have like true utility and they see them in action in game, I'm pretty impressed. So let's do that right now. Let's jump into the game straight on.
Sure. So first thing I'll do, Marion, is I'll just share the other videos for Denizens of the Swamp, which is the collection of characters that we're going to be releasing. And this is the swamp in the background. So these are the Rectraka. They're actually the lizard-like inhabitants of the swamp that the Stranded have to get in touch with, and they have to collaborate with to be able to survive in this terrible, treacherous terrain. And on top of that, we've got a few classic Nightmare Legion as well, who have found their way into the swamps and been corroded by the acids. Cool. So the story with these characters is that even though we've got some classic Stranded who have made their way into the swamp, we've also got these, like I said, the Rectraka. Both characters are basically, both groups are basically trying to work together to survive as the Lost Legion has made their way through to the swamp and have begun to infest it with the undead of the Rectraka and the Stranded alike. As the player moves through as the player arrives in the swamp, they are essentially trapped there in the same way that they were trapped in the desert in episode 2. Because some of the gods, the heathen gods that the Rectraka worship, their names have been lost, but they're only known as the two-faced idols because they are the statues that are worshipped that represent both the good and the bad of various aspects of the Rectrakan culture. And those are our flagship models this time around. So I will, on that note, share the video file for the two-faced idols. Cool. So yes, there are 5 two-faced idols throughout the level, and the player has to track down almost the old worshipping grounds of each of the 5 that are hidden under the swamp, and complete a set of challenges unique to each one of the idols before being able to finally escape and make their way further inland and away from the swamps. So I'll share a little bit of the level.
Maybe in the meantime, can you tell us like what's been the most popular type of items that you've been selling? Like what did the audience like the most? Characters, enemies, of those monuments and decorations?
Sorry, are you asking me or the?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's been a kind of quite a mixed bag. I think it does depend on. It does tend to depend on, I think, the lore that we've put behind them, especially also the complexity of the models as well. We had a lot of luck with a couple of our models that were designed to be very very bloody and very brutal in our last season. At the same time, we had a lot of positive feedback about our arena level during their playtests. So it's been, yeah, I think kind of the more ambitious and the more interesting and unique a model does tend to have an effect on how popular it is. And I think it's on the other side as well, from the development side. I think people can really kind of pick up on if an artist has really spent some time putting something. If they've grabbed an avatar template and thrown something together in an afternoon and then tried to sell it, it doesn't tend to do as well as someone who's done a bit of research. They've worked hard trying to figure out how to do their own animations, created something very interesting and unique that you haven't seen on the sandbox before, and then try and build it in the best way possible and really kind of double check it really go through the full development pipeline to create something really interesting and unique. That tends to do the best, I think, in our experience.
Have you already seen some of those contents in other creators' world? Do you think like there should be a game jam soon organized to see how like they get inspired by your content as well?
Oh yeah, we're totally looking forward to it. The Alpha Season 1, pretty much everyone on the team Primordial participated in the Alpha Season 1, and we had a ton of fun. We're really looking forward to the Season 2 soon. And if there was an opportunity to experience other people's lands in some sort of game jam, I think that'll go across hugely well. I think the more gameplay that's available for people on the sandbox, the better. I think it gives them just more opportunities to experience more of the metaverse, and that's never a bad thing. Cool. So I'll quickly go over the swamp area that we've got. This won't yet be available until we're finished with the logic. We're planning on. I've mentioned this, I think, in almost in the last 2 streams that we did as well. We aren't going to be releasing any of these until we're sure they're fully playable, and we're also interested in making sure we have all 12 complete, and then we'd like to release them almost sequentially so that people can really experience the story in full. So the swamp's almost split up into 2 areas, which is the forested section, which is a lot of ragged mountain tops that have been beaten apart by the horrid weather of the area, and then almost a submerged bayou filled with outcrops of rock, a lot of moss and slime and debris, and a few floating houses, stake settlements. In the center is one of the last Reptrakan forts available. This is almost like the central hub for the player. When they first get started, they make their way into the central hub, and almost like a Zelda game, they will be sent in different directions to discover what lies underneath. We don't want to give it, like with the other games, we don't want to give away too much, but we have a really huge chunk of gameplay that takes place beneath the surface of the level. It took us at least 3 weeks to literally build all the caverns and the mazes and everything underneath the ground, and less than a week to finally finish the top. So even though it doesn't look like much gameplay to make your way around this section here, it's probably one of the busiest levels that we've made so far. And there's at least 11 puzzles that take place within this area. The 5 idols, you see there's a couple of pathways that lead down into secret areas here, and then there's one you can see just down here as well. You drop down through the waterfall into a flooded section below the bayou. And we still have the traditional 6 hidden sections that contain the 6 parts of the insignia for the player to collect. Once they've collected the 6 insignia parts by traversing a level and completing the insignia, they can use it to open a secret door and earn themselves a free NFT by completing a very difficult puzzle challenge at the end. So I could do, I'd say I don't want to do a run around, because otherwise I might give away a bit too much information. I really love people to go into this fresh. Yeah, I mean, Seb, should we jump into some of the community questions now? Yes, yeah, we will. We're super excited. We're really thankful that Seb invited us. We've had a lot of fun planning our trip there. So yeah, August 4th and 5th, we'll be taking. I know I will be doing at least one speaking engagement, but we're waiting to hear a bit more about the schedule before we can say anything else with certainty.
I think it's April, the conference, not August.
Oh, sorry, I said August. Yeah, April 4th and 5th. Sorry about that.
Yes, well, you spoiled, but yes, the idea is like we'll be having like a special section where you will be able to meet several of the studios and builders that are part of the Sandbox ecosystem, and Primordial Game will be one of them. So come by the conference, enjoy a great time with the Sandbox team and all the great builders part of the community.
Yep, sorry, I didn't realize it was a spoiler. Absolutely. With Isla Obscura, it's such a moving target, I think. Our original concept for Isla Obscura was based around almost a pirate adventure. But once we got started and we realized what the metaverse was capable of, the IP for Isla Obscura became so much broader, and we wanted everyone to really be surprised with whatever they found next, and not really know, not be able to kind of guess or predict what comes afterwards. The basic structure of Isla Obscura is that the Stranded tend to be the good guys and the Lost Legion are the bad guys. And there always tends to be some ruins or remnants of this forgotten civilization that created this very strange mystery around this island. But other than that, we are looking to really create a full spectrum of not just gameplay, focusing on puzzle platforming and a lot of strong story, but also to create this really strong story arc, so that as players play through each one of these 12 episodes, it actually almost forms this gigantic story arc. And we do have the plot organized. We do have a beginning, a middle, and an end. But we don't want to give away too much until we have made the final episode public and we're able to let people play their way through. So yeah. No, this is a 2x2. All of Isla Obscura is based on 2x2 lands. The Sandbox lets you create any range of shapes, but it tends to be a 1x1 as a minimum and a 4x4 as a maximum. There's not currently any way or any process that we've discovered to actually create procedural generation within Sandbox. Like many games, I do think that a lot of stuff can be shared and a lot of stuff can be spoiled. I think it's the same as any story-rich game or any film, where if you are really interested in the story, the best thing you can do is just really to keep up with the releases and make sure that you experience it yourself firsthand before someone else ruins it for you.
Well, procedural generation is work in progress. The first one will be the collection with Snoop Dogg, coming later this month. Follow us on Twitter, and we will make it available to all creators afterwards. So we can start thinking on this and hope to see more news on this topic from us.
Yes, where there are several forms of puzzle platforming that the game tends to take. In the swamp section that we just showcased, episode 3, we have 2 mazes. Water mechanics play a huge part in this very submerged level. So rather than just being a very standard maze, we have created a version where the water will actually change the way that the maze works. And in some other parts, we've used platforms to create almost a moving maze. It's deliberately attempting to disorient the player and make sure that they're always guessing. And it's more than just trying to figure out one pathway through a certain maze. I say where Sandbox is great because it does really give you the creativity to come up with lots of different variants, and we do a lot of stretching. So we never try and do the same puzzle twice. So although mazes will show up quite a lot in our games, then we always try and make sure each one's got its own kind of flair to it. Okay, just got the message to wrap it up there, I think. So perfect. I really hope everyone enjoyed what they saw today, and we're really excited to bring it to you. The 3 collections will be available on the Sandbox Marketplace on February 12th at 6:30 p.m. is when sales finally go live. Thank you very much, Ray. I really appreciate it. We're always very nervous for these AMAs, so it's always quite nice to know that we actually, pulled it off successfully. Yeah. So keep an eye out on the weekend, Saturday night, and we really hope you enjoy what we showed, what we've shown, and we're really looking forward to being able to give players the opportunity to play through their our experiences as well. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Morgan. Thank you for showing us. Really excited. So don't forget, February 12th, 6:30 p.m. UTC, if I'm correct. UTC, to get your hands on this collection, and look forward a lot of exciting stuff in 2022 on Primordial Games side. And you can even meet the team in Lisbon, April 4th and 5th. More details to be announced as well. Cool. Thank you guys for today's demo, and thank you everyone for watching the stream, and see you online very soon again.
Thanks, guys.
Bye all.